where you are. You're in Hub Culture right now in our Ice House. And Meg Thomson, who is the executive producer, and I have been with Hub Culture for about 8 years, which is about our 8th Davos, in fact, decided that we wanted to bring all the amazing women that we came across in our daily lives together. And we started in London. We had a fantastic lunch with bringing women from film, from literature, from finance, and technology together, and some extraordinary kind of connections started to happen. There was some interesting kind of organized alchemy.
I grew up in India, as you might have guessed, and at a time where science and education was the way to improve your lot in life, especially if you're a woman. So I feel very passionate about women and women in science. A lot of times I go to panels in Europe, in Asia, and sometimes it's filled with tall, white males who are, and I'm the only small Indian woman. And so two things happen in that dynamic. One, I'm a woman. The other, I'm a woman from a different background. And so I have to work harder and I have to lean in to make myself heard.
I do think the mentorship angle is so important. Seeing the role models and then figuring out a way to get the male and female role models to be proactive in making younger women feel that there is a path for them in these technical disciplines.
When we're taught about science in school, we're not taught about the context of why is it so critical, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the same as computer science and a lot of these other tech fields, there's somehow this insistence that it be done just because it's good to do.
It has to start in school. So, yes, we have to do everything we can, of course, at colleges, and I'm not trying to excuse, my school or any other school. It starts in elementary school, it starts with coding classes, starts with science classes, starts with role models like you to come in.
And I actually think it starts before first grade.
Pre-K.
I mean, when I was 3 years old, I was given a Fisher-Price kitchen, right?
Yep.
If I had been given blocks, like my brother, or Legos, or at that age, where everything starts, perhaps I would have gone on to be the STEM scientist or something else, and it starts in the beginning.
I'm from Scandinavia. I grew up with Lego.
Right.
In green and blue, and then I first moved to Italy, where I was kind of, wow, this is a different world. And then moved to Nicaragua, that was a different world. Now I live in the US, and I'm kind of, whoa, unconscious biases and the whole gender dynamics is so different, so different. I'm not saying that there's gender equality in Scandinavia at all. In classes, you have a much bigger parity in universities as well, whether it's in engineering or whether it's in math. It's not that you would ever see all male classes.
I think as important as it is that we teach and educate our very young girls that they can do anything that they want in science, technology, etc., I think it's also important that we educate our young boys from a very young age that women can do all this as well. Because I think if you look at who you work with in your work environment in your past, if you work with male colleagues that had a particularly strong female figure in their youth, powerful, professionally strong female figure, they're potentially more likely to think, well, I'm not going to necessarily interrupt my female colleague here. So it's also about educating on both sides.
So girls are obviously influenced a lot by what they see in school and what they've been taught and by their parents and their family and so on. But also I feel the role of the media is a very significant one. And I feel, whether that's now has moved from print magazines to Instagram or whatever, but I feel there's still, when I look at what girls look at, I think there are a lot of very unrealistic and very sort of, physically oriented role models there, right? Like you're going to be cool in your life if you're, either a Hollywood actress, a fashion blogger, or a top model. Basically, those are the three things.
Yes.
I'm a bit black and white now, but basically those are the things that a lot of girls would probably aspire to. And it's obviously driven by the media, needing to make money, obviously, and these are the products that they can sell or advertising for. They can sell advertising for those products. It's cosmetics products, it's fashion products, and so on. So how are we going to get those magazines that these girls read, whether it's or look at on their Instagram feed or whatever? How can we change the influence that they have so that girls see that there are cool women out there that are cool because they don't do something in those fields, but because they do whatever, they save lives, because they a brain surgeon or whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be that inspiring. But how do we change that?
To the point about media,
You know, I'm not a big pop culture person, but right before I came here, we went to see Hidden Figures.
You've got to all see that.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's out where you live, but if it will,
Find it.
you have
Yeah.
to find it.
Yeah.
And this Hidden Figure story about these 3 women engineers, physicists, mathematicians that basically put U.S. into space.
Absolutely.
African American.
African Americans. Those are the stories we have to uncover because those are the things that will inspire women, especially women of difference,
Yes,
to go and do something. I was moved beyond those. There's got to be hundreds of stories like that have to come out because I think those are the things that will inspire young girls to start thinking about it.
The important thing about Hidden Figures is not only the unbelievable story it told, but the proof that it's economically very attractive. It is, in the first 2 weekends, it was tied the most popular movie in the United States. It's amazing in the United States, I'll pick on the United States because it's where I live. There are museums for everything. There's even a museum for women in the arts. There's no historical museum that tells the story of women.
Yeah.
And I think that Susan here has hit on a critical thing. We've got to tell more stories to more people in more places all the time.
As I'm hearing these stories, I'm realizing how important it is to have these, at film festivals we just talk about films, at science conferences that just talk about science, and that's why it's very hub to have all these different disciplines talking together.
We've got a great group of folks in the room, and we will add you to a LinkedIn group if you'd like to continue the conversation. We'd love you to. But also, we'd love to see if there's a commitment you might like to make. Yeah.